Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Married at First Sight All-Star Panel. I'm Glenn.
I'm Jackie.
And we got Tommy for August Love Story, man. Y'all wish look. I thought I was on live. I'm gonna tell you, I ain't gonna trip. I thought I was on live. I messed up. And it is what it is at this point. All right. And so we had to start all over again. What's up, Tommy? How you feeling, brother?
I'm good, man. What about y'all?
Man, doing all right, man. Can't complain. Everything is all well, man. Everything is well. Just hey, been rushing, gotten some things going on, but it's all well. It's all
Yeah,
definitely good.
all good, man.
Yeah,
Happy
good man.
with
But hey, this Married at First Sight is one for ages, man. Got a lot to talk about, lot to discuss. Man, let's get to it. Let's get to Married at First Sight. I want to start with this one. While I try to fix some things. I know we look red, so I'm gonna try to adjust some things here. But let's start with Miguel and Lindy and McGindy. and McGindy. And
Indy.
we'll start with you, Tom.
All right. I ain't really write much about them. I'm trying to pull up my notes here. They named this baby McGindy, which is interesting. They just trying to make each other be a part of the name. Um, I found it interesting that they really they didn't talk to that Dr. Pia, but then they also have the least amount of problems. And I find that interesting just because it's like I didn't expect that at all. I expected them to have some problems, and especially with Miguel, I expected him to just be concerned about this 8 weeks process. So, um, yeah, it seemed like Lindy took a back seat to the parenting. Because every time we saw them and the baby was with Miguel. I don't know, for me, I'm looking at it. It's like, yep, I'm going through that. Yep, I'm going through that. Yeah, I'm going through that too. Like up in the middle of the night. But majority of the things are Artika is dealing with those things because she's breastfeeding. Um, so it's like the roles were completely flipped from my reality to their reality, and I'm looking at it from that standpoint, and I'm like, dog. Well, what is Lindy gonna do? You know, how is she, being a partner in this, and how that's gonna go with them? So, um, allegedly, Artika is in the chat for August Love Story. She's with the baby, so um, that's the thing that I was looking at. I was just like, for me, it would be Lily would be more so with me than Quad would, as the newborn and stuff like that. So I just found that to be interesting. Um, yeah, it's weird that they don't have problems, like that's what they because this is the first time a baby was introduced. That's something I wouldn't have wanted did in this experiment. Like, don't give me no baby. Like I would have did what Mitch said, take the batteries out. I mean, like, put this baby to the side. I would take the batteries out because it's like it's just added pressure, at this point. And it's like, what are you testing me for that for? Give me another challenge because we're not perfect, So, um, yeah, I really didn't have much for them this week. So,
Yeah, to me, I thought the baby situation, I think I said on our review, I thought it was interesting. I mean, if you're gonna do the babies, I think I'm like Mitch. I think you do it for everybody, right? If
yeah,
you're gonna do it, just don't do it for one couple. Do it for everybody. At least everyone can see. You know what? We may not want kids right now, right? Look at Stasha, who wants kids right away. Look at Nate, who's kind of on the fence, and when you deal with Mitch and Kristen and their lifestyles, Miguel and Lindy allegedly don't have an issue. They got issues. It's big issues. I think experts are overlooking the fact that some of their issues, or they don't think they're compared to everybody else's issues, it's not that big. But there are issues there because right now I think Miguel is quiet because he just doesn't want her to go off, right? And I think that's an issue because now let's find out what triggers you. What's your triggers? What make you go off? And when you do go off, how am I going to handle you going off? Because that may be an issue later on in the relationship. So I'm taking care of the baby. I think somebody said in our chat or in one of our comments was Miguel used to acting anyway. So this baby situation was like a Dungeon and Dragon thing, and he was just acting like being daddy, right? He's used to acting, doing things in that nature. So I think they do have issues. The financial situation, I think it's going to be an issue for them later on. I think their issue also is to her way that she communicates to him when she upset. I don't think she knows how to deal with it and how to handle frustration and adversity. To me, I think that's going to be a big issue for her. Well, but as of right now, compared to the other couples, they don't have the issues that everyone else has.
Nah, I was really surprised. I was really surprised. I said, how did we get to this point with them? Because it does seem like they got the least issues, but it was feeling like at first they had the most. Well, not the most, but they had quite a few. The one thing that you commented on when it came to McGindy, which it's not unusual, but it kind of is. Like, I was like surprised that Miguel took the baby with him to the guys thing. And here go Glenn talking something. I mean, guys, dads take care of it. I was like, they do, but for most of the time, unless it's something that the mama can't take the baby to, in particular, moms be having the babies. Not that dad can't, but yeah, I was like, and she even said for her, she mentioned in passing that she would be breastfeeding. So I'm thinking, why don't you act like it now? But she act like she was bottle feeding and take the baby with you. And he didn't do bad. He didn't do bad, but I would wonder, like, is this a reflection of what it would be like for real? Because I'm with Tommy. She really didn't do much of anything. She didn't do much of anything when it came to the baby. So
I mean, think about it. And this baby didn't even come out of her, so she can't use the excuse I'm tired. I've been through a long labor. I've been through all this. I have, had a C-section or whatever the case may be. She can't even mention none of that, right? So when Miguel doing it, I just think Miguel just have a better motherly instinct.
Parental. Let's call it parental.
Parental instinct, right? Parental instinct than Lindy. I think Lindy has a little bit of fear back there to see how she was raised and how mom would raise her and how she would deal with it. Miguel's, I understand a night person get up in the middle of the night. I got up in the middle of the night, right? I understand that. Sometimes you have to do that because my wife at the middle of the night, coming off of the surgery stuff she had, was tired. It is what it is, right? So you have to understand that. But throughout the day, I think Miguel was the one who changed the baby's diaper, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't even change the diaper. I would expect to at least see her try to change the diaper. So it makes you go and question this. This is something I really thought about. Did she not play with dolls growing up, right? Because of her strict lifestyle, because of her strict upbringing. I don't know. I'm not a Seventh-day Adventist. I don't understand. But that she mentioned a lot of things she didn't do growing up that she couldn't do. Could they not play with dolls and not deal with that aspect of dolls? Because now it's like you want a baby. There's some religions that don't allow kids to do that. So maybe she doesn't have that parental instinct inside of her, and that she's seen people have babies, but she just never had the opportunity to work with kids, and she don't have it there.
I don't know. I kind of took it the other way. Maybe she doesn't have like the motherly instinct, but I also felt like Miguel had a takeover kind of spirit. Like, I'm gonna take the baby. Let me do. I think that's what some of it was too. But was she the youngest? Her brother was older than her, right?
I think so.
Is she the baby? So maybe she hasn't, cared for a baby.
I was thinking about how serious they was taking the situation too.
Right.
Because it's like Miguel sitting over there playing with the baby's head and everything. There's certain things you can't do with the baby, like a real baby,
Mm-hmm.
But I just think that's what it was. It was like how serious they were taking it. And Miguel is looking at it because it's funny to see him playing with a doll. Or I don't want to say playing with a doll, but essentially sitting up there holding a baby doll as if it was his child.
Mm-hmm.
They named the doll McGindy.
Yes.
Was it a boy or a girl?
I think it was supposed to be a boy.
Don't get me the line.
I think it was supposed to be a boy, but with McGindy, I don't know.
Don't get me the line at all.
Right.
But somebody made it that Miguel does do all the cooking. We see Miguel cook. I ain't never seen Lindy cook.
We do.
Miguel does the cleaning. What does Lindy offer? And that's somebody else said the sex, right? Is that all she offered to them? Bring it to the table? Is she just the sex in it? I'm just asking, what is Lindy bringing, right? Miguel's taking care of the child. He's cleaning. He's cooking. She come home. What is he bringing?
And is that sustainable? You know, that's
No.
another thing too. It's like
Oh,
that, like being that unbalanced. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
Is that how long is that sustainable for before it's like, oh, I'm tired of this. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. So I get the experiment, but it's like during this time, I wouldn't have wanted to do that.
Right.
Just because it's like so many other things we could focus on. Like we never talked about finances, or we haven't talked about finances yet, which is a major thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um the intimacy part, like going past physical intimacy. Cause I think that's what the episode was about this week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Intimacy and
Mm-hmm.
trust. Um they were trying to say they didn't have an issue with intimacy, but I like take it a step further. We talked about intimacy on our podcast coming out Wednesday. Plug. So
Drop that plug.
right. So it's like you go past just the physical intimacy part and start talking about the intellectual intimacy or the emotional intimacy parts of things and get into that. But
But
yeah,
how did they fix that though? Remember, they had all these intimate issues, right? Leading up to during the honeymoon and after the honeymoon, Miguel begging for sex and begging for sex, and she's giving in to give Miguel sex. So now is it all of a sudden she just freely and willingly giving it now? And
yeah,
Miguel,
of course.
when Miguel's no longer asking and there's no more angst at begging for it. So now she just, I want sex today, Miguel, and she's like, okay,
Yeah, and that's the crazy part. It's like we don't see them resolving anything.
Right.
So it's like everybody else is going through these issues, but these guys right here, sunshine and rainbows.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't make sense to the naked eye. So I don't know.
yeah. I mean, it's weird with them, and so we just, I mean, hopefully they can continue to sustain whatever they got going on,
Yeah,
and keep it low key and fly underneath the radar. But sometimes when you see relationship fly underneath the radar, that's when you get surprised on decision day. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
Iris and Keith kind of fly
yeah.
under the
Iris and
radar.
Keith kind of flew underneath the radar, right? And on decision day, Keith said no. So it's
yeah.
like,
I remember that.
yeah. So I mean, you think everything's going well, but the person, and we know Miguel was already thinking, it may not last past 8 weeks. I know he told her he loved her in the last episode, but with him, if she has one more outburst, that could change quickly.
Yeah,
With him, he said, "Usually I'm out." So I mean, maybe he's just doing it so he keeps the peace in the house,
maybe.
which is the biggest farce in the world.
I would say that's a mistake if you do that.
It is. It's a big mistake. Big mistake. I know people on there want to say happy wife, happy life, but that's a whole
Wow.
different. That's a whole different. Yeah, I don't want to use that analogy.
Yeah.
That's a whole podcast by itself.
Right.
That's a whole podcast by itself to break that down. You know what I'm saying? But let's go to Mitch and Kristen.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna deal with Mitch and Kristen, and I'm gonna deal with the other couples in a little bit later. Let's deal with Mitch and Kristen. Your thoughts, Tommy, on Mitch and Kristen, and Mitch not getting none. Mitch has a
I
problem.
wonder what he said. Like,
Right.
the whole time when he first was like, we stopped having sex because I got too jokey in the middle of, like, I'm like, what did you say? Like, what was it that was so bad that she was like, nah, we gotta stop? Because obviously he thought it was funny, but she didn't.
Right.
So
I mean, in my mind, I'm with you, Tommy. My mind went like a million different places. Like, what did Dude do? Did she try to do something and it didn't work out and he bust out laughing?
right.
You know what I'm saying? Or something happened, something to kill the whole vibe and the whole
Right.
mood. Like, you know what? I'm not doing that no more.
Yeah, right. Like, what happened? Mitch is still Mitching this thing. And he's trying. I do give him that. He is attempting to kind of listen to her and see what she's doing. The biggest thing that stood out to me was when they were sitting down with Dr. Pia and they described, I think the question was about their superhero.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up as a child, who was their superhero as a child. And she talked about her mom, and he like not interrupted, but like corrected her. It was like, is that who your hero was as a child? Like, I was like, man, you could have just been quiet, like kept that to yourself, because it doesn't matter, like that. Her answering that question does not change anything about their relationship. You know what I'm saying? It's just she could have said Charlie Brown was her hero growing up as a child. You know, that has no effect on their relationship whatsoever right now. Only thing it does is gives him an idea of who she thinks highly of. Oh, okay, it's your mom. All right, bet. When your mom's birthday come around, I'm gonna make sure to get her a gift. That'll get me brownie points. Mother's Day come around, make sure she gets something for Mother's Day. That'll give me some points. He didn't have to say, but is this from your childhood? And I think that's where Mitch is not seeing where he, messes up, you know, because it's things it's almost like he has an impulse control problems and he just can't help himself. And it's like you just stabbing yourself in the foot because that was unnecessary completely. Um, I think a funny part was when they were talking about their favorite sex positions, and she didn't get the, why would this be your, the best position and stuff like that. I don't know, man. That couple there is like she's gonna say yes to him because of the idea of marriage, and he's gonna say, I don't know what he's gonna say, man. He's a toss up from week to week, man.
He is, man. I thought that part was funny too, because I thought Mitch was like a high school kid, right? Because every time they talked about sex, he was laughing and giggling, right?
Giddy.
And like you're the oldest one. You're the oldest one on the show. You're 41 years old, right?
Yeah.
And you're laughing and giggling about doggy style, right? You're laughing and giggling about cuddling, or you're laughing and giggling about all these other things. Like, at what point do you, as Mitch, what point do you grow up, right? At what point you say, you know what, my wife doesn't like laughing and giggling. I'm gonna keep that crap. I'm gonna keep that to myself, right? Well, I think it's fun. What he said, all the sounds and stuff that goes on.
Oh yeah, he was like, it's the weird sounds, it's the human fluids. I was like, oh my god, really?
Yeah, I mean, I understand laughing, I understand, but like I said, Tommy, I'm like you. I go back to what I said. I wanted to know what he said. I wanted Mitch to. What did he say? What did he do? And we already know Kristen was like, it ain't lasting long anyway. So what did he do in those time span to make her really say, you know what, I ain't giving this dude no more sex? Because remember, if you think about it, go back to previous episodes. That's what she wanted to do. She was ready. She was quick, and she was ready to like, yo, I want to get in the streets with my husband. I want to have sex with my husband. I want to have sex with my husband. And now she has sex with him, and that junk cooled off. And Mitch is like, hold up, what's going on?
Yeah.
Is it because I'm laughing? Is it my, what is it? What's causing this to stop? Even when she said her favorite position, he was like, he came selfish. Oh yeah, that's the way I finish. Or something like he said. Something
right.
Yeah, something smart. And I'm like, yo, dog, shut up.
Keep it, man. It's okay. You don't have to say everything that comes up, man.
Keep it tight to the chest.
I like that she said, now, come on, you've been married for a while like us, not for a while, not the same time span, but for a while.
You know what I'm saying?
So once you done got it, you can be like, oh, you made this stupid face.
Yeah, right.
But you're not gonna say that at the beginning.
No.
you're not, because she'll be like, what? I'll make my stupid face at home, then don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. So I think he probably was like, oh, you sound stupid, or why you look like that, why you move. And she was like, wait, what?
Why you make those sounds? You know what I'm saying? why you sound like that?
So yeah, like she said, it's probably some stuff that later on, after you've been with somebody for a while, it'd be fine to say because you're comfortable with each other. But in the beginning, you're self-conscious. So you can't be like, oh, you got a dimple right there. Oh, look at that. Look, when you look, just move like that. Oh my gosh. Turn the lights back on or turn them off. But I was just like, because he's not lying. It is some funny things that can happen, but again, not right now, sir. Wait till later. Don't embarrass her.
Yeah.
But
yeah, she has to be comfortable with that, though.
That's crazy because in the middle, you can't do it in the middle of it. It's okay. Like, y'all finish and you laying in bed and talking to each other. Yeah, then you kind of joking and playing stuff like that. But in the middle of it, you working.
Right.
Tommy, I said the same thing. I said, now after the fact, you know, you can reflect back and be like, "Bruh, you made this really silly face."
Right.
I was like, wow, okay, what are you looking at? But after
Right.
you gonna ruin the mood, I'm telling you, things gonna start shutting down. Like,
But
no,
it's already shut down for him. I mean, shut down enough that he had to bring it up because Mitch wants it.
no. I'm talking about, like Tommy said, if you say this in the middle of the act, it's going to shut down. It's like I don't want to do it no more. That's okay.
Yeah,
you know, it had to be something she was self-conscious about for her to just completely be like, no, we're not gonna do it, and like not in a like we'll get over this type of deal, but it was like a kind of like you have to build that back up again, you know, type of deal. It's ain't like you being punished for like a week, but it's like this is indefinite until
right. But like you guys said, you got to know your spouse though, man. You got to be able to know your spouse, know what they're self-conscious about, what they like, what you can't, what they don't like, how to do this, how to do that. And at this point in their marriage, 5 weeks, he should still be asking questions, right?
Yeah.
Right. They should still be exploring themselves sexually. All right, what do you like? You like this? Do you like that? How do you? I mean, they finally asked a question. She like, you didn't know she liked doggy style after 5 weeks. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, y'all should have had that conversation on the honeymoon, or should have. Matter of fact, you should have had that conversation first time you had sex. Like, what do you like? Right. So, but a
lot of people don't though. Let's not just put it on there. A lot of people don't even have that conversation. Just go on and figure it out as you go along.
But you know what? That's a problem though, because guess what? And I'm saying that we all grown on this spot. It's a problem because you can't treat your current mate like your old mate because they don't may not like the same thing. Right. Because she odd and oohed here, or he odd and oohed there, right? It doesn't mean that person is gonna like that. They may not like that. So therefore, you have to have those conversations, and you should have those conversations.
That's what I'm saying. I agree, you should, but it don't always happen.
It doesn't always happen, but you should, because what happened is you coming in there because your heart can get broken as a dude, because you know the last chick you were with, you did this, and this, and it was like, yo, you smack it, rub it down, and like it was the world, right? You know, right? And everything was great, and you go to this new girl or this new person.
Why are you so rough?
And you putting your best moves in, and she like, I ain't do nothing for me.
You put your back into it. No, I think Miguel came into not Miguel, but who we talking about? Mitch. I think Mitch came into this situation with a unique position because he hadn't gotten in it in a long time.
Right.
So there's the opportunity to have the conversation when we do lay down to have sex. Be like, yo, I haven't had sex in a while. Guide me through this thing so I can please you. You know, it's a simple conversation, and then that allows her to tell him and show him what she likes. Because for men, like, it doesn't take much. You know what I'm saying? Like, we pretty much end that thing, you know. So it's like, what do you like? What do you want me to do? And that's what I'm going to do, because I don't have the experience to, like, we're going into this thing brand new, and I don't have the experience behind me as sex being a regular thing in my everyday life, you know. And then you're new, so this is the opportunity for you to teach me how to please you. Having that conversation in the beginning does not put him in a position where he at now 5 weeks in, and she's like, no, you know. Because it's what was Janet Jackson's song? It's the pleasure principle. Right. You know, I want that pleasure. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. That's a whole different topic.
Yeah, that's a whole different podcast.
The only
but we're gonna do that together. August Love Story, Jack and Glenn.
Yeah. Hey, set it up, man. Set it up.
The only other thing, I want to go back a little bit. The conversation where they were talking about your hero, your childhood hero, and as Mitch said, your heroine. He said heroine. Oh, right. Heroine. I was like, sir, what? Anyway, was it just me, or did this the first time we heard Kristen say her mother was of Cuban descent?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I was like, why has she not said this before? And it's not like she hasn't talked about her mom. I was like, okay, so that gives us a better perspective when it comes to Kristen too. And yeah, I was like you, Tommy. I was like, to me, I felt like Kristen went more with my family's a sensitive topic. I would have been like, how you gonna tell me who my hero was? That's what I got. That's what I felt like he was saying. But she went to, oh, leave me alone about my family. And I was like, nah, my thing is, don't tell me what I'm trying to say. I know the question. I'm answering the question like I want to answer the question. But she didn't do that. Maybe because she's not me and I'm not her. If you get my drift.
Right.
Because as a sister, I'd have been like, you can't tell me what to say. But that's just
I mean, her hero could be her mom. Mitch didn't have those. You know what I'm saying? His hero was some action star, whoever it was. Well, he never said the action star.
Oh yeah, that too.
It could have been Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I don't even remember his.
He never even gave anybody. He just like the action heroes.
Action heroes off of TV, right? So that's Arnold Schwarzenegger, Dolph Lundgren, maybe Sylvester Stallone. Those guys that he saw on TV. Was nobody there. So maybe it was Wolverine from X-Men. I don't know. Iron Man.
The sad part about my answer to that question would be Bill Cosby.
I know.
Right.
And it like that hurt me so bad when I found out about it. And so it's not Bill Cosby, it's Heathcliff.
Right.
Who is actually, the person I used to like really look up to and stuff like that. So I just threw that in there because I was thinking about it just.
I know that does suck.
Yeah,
it does. It sucks because it's Bill Cosby and then R. Kelly. I like R. Kelly, one of the greatest songwriters of period, and can't even listen to his music.
I know, right?
Unless you're in the privacy of your own home, don't tell nobody, right?
Man, it's like, look, I can't even do it then, man. I'd be like, dog, I really like this song. Let me skip it.
Yo, Mona, you right. You know what? Captain Planet.
All right.
Yo, I like that one. That's a good one. But Mitch and Kristen, I mean, to them, they're kind of low key. I did laugh at Mitch when he was laying on the beach because he always cut up in the fetal position, like the little baby. And I think he said something smart, like, or she said something smart, like you can be sucking on nipples or something like that. It was just the way he said, he laughed and giggled. Again, high school kid. I expect that from my 16-year-old high schooler, not a 41-year-old man who's been married for 5 weeks. But it goes back to what you said, Tommy. He hadn't had none in a while, which, again, this probably explains why. Mitch hadn't had none in a while, and I think somebody said in the comments. None in relationship.
Relationship and sex. He ain't had
relationship and sex. But it's probably why this is like, I think Artika said it or Talisa said it on a past show, and somebody else in the chat said it. Mitch just wanted to be married, and so he's happy because he's married and he can get whatever he wants, sex and marriage. So it's a bucket list thing for him. It's a bucket list, and he wouldn't. I think he said it. I wouldn't have been married any other way. I don't think if it wasn't for this show, I don't see myself being married. So let's go to let's go Stasha and Nate. I want to hit on Stasha and Nate right there for a minute. Mr. Sexual himself, right?
From one extreme to the other.
Look, Stasha and Nate. Tell me your thoughts on Stasha and Nate.
Man, I told Artika, I was like, I want to get one of them swing joints, man. Like, them things look like they're a little fun. But I'm trying to think. Oh, when Nate was talking, like the trust thing is gonna be big for them. I don't know what it's gonna take for her to get over the trusting and trusting him. They're probably gonna have to go through something where she solely has to lean on him for her to fully grasp the idea that he's here for her. Losing the control, like I think Artika brought it up in our review of it, the control and trust, like tying control and trust together. Like she don't trust, like what she say, the outside is blue unless she can see it and stuff like that. So it's like her giving control to him, going into that dungeon, and everything like that. It was a step in the right direction, but I think they look at it from the sexual part, because I guess both of them are so sexual, and open with their sexuality with each other. I think that's healthy for their marriage, to be able to like think past the giggles, You know what I'm saying? Think past the things that you're gonna be like, you're gonna laugh about when you hear. And no, I think they're doing great. I think that was a great exercise for them. I just hate that they're like the softcore porn couple. Like this, like the second or third time we were like, all right, so what we doing here, you know?
Yo,
So
I think I'm with you, Tommy. I feel like they really didn't need that exercise. They didn't
nah,
need, like, they needed to exhibit relinquishing control in another way. I really don't think they had that problem. Now that we know they've consummated, we know they've
yeah,
I feel like they're the freaky deaky couple anyway.
right.
but you
But
know,
I never thought they didn't consummate. Like when he said he went down on her, I was like, yeah, he smashed. There
yeah,
ain't no way he didn't smash.
that's what I thought too. Like, yo, he just did, and you know, people saying, "Oh, he just did it because he's a giver." Nah, nah. Like I said, he got something. You know, but what she said too on after party, she was like, "Yo, that was just PG because he licked my toes and he put chocolate syrup on my toes, and they showed the footage." And then Keisha asked her, "You like, did y'all get nervous with the cameraman in there? The cameraman kept asking us, did he want to leave? We were like, we was cool." But like we was
Come
cool with
on,
it.
man.
You're like, we were good with the cameraman, you know, to the point where the cameraman eventually left,
I hope so.
whatever the case may be. But I mean, Stasha was like, yo, she's a little freakier than him, you know. She just try to keep it well together,
Yeah,
you know. But again, like, relinquishing control in that area for her wasn't an issue. It's other areas like when it comes to decision making in the home or things that he wants to do or needs to do that she needs to trust him to do. And it wasn't a sexual thing.
mhm,
But I don't even think it's that. It's from what I see, it's a trust in because I think she trusts that he'll be a good provider and take care of home. Her problem is, do you really want me? I have
yeah,
to trust that, you know. So I don't even, how do you even
you
venture to
can't,
relinquish
you can't,
control there? That's what I'm saying.
you
That's what I'm
can't.
saying. All of her thing is, you know, do you really like me? Do you really love me? Are you gonna be for me, be with me, be there for me in that aspect? That's where she needs to relinquish control. And it's, you just got to do that. I mean, God knows we've probably all had our heart broken, and you go into the next thing like, but it's a chance you take. It's a chance you take when you get in a
I
relationship.
That's
think a
what
lot of her
that's
questions
what makes
put
this work. You know,
Uh-huh.
this whole thing works if you're able to relinquish that. I don't trust this. If you're able to relinquish this is a stranger,
Mm-hmm.
and what he says, what he's doing is what I need to trust.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're able to relinquish that, I think it works. You know,
Right.
but if you're not, if you're holding on to whatever it is that you're holding on to, it's not gonna work. Sexuality is it's a whole different thing. Sex is a whole different thing. But when it comes to you as the person, like what can you know what I'm saying? You have to relinquish that control. You have to relinquish that idea that this person may not be saying, may not mean what he's saying, or may
Mm-hmm.
not mean what she's saying. You know, you have to just be like, I'm gonna trust whatever this person says until this person gives me a reason not to trust them.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Nate has given her a reason not to trust him and his word as of yet. Like he, you know, at the beginning we always like, I don't know about this dude, but then now it's, you know, he's pretty much came through with everything he said he was gonna
Yep.
do. So
Yeah, I mean, what else does he have to do, right? In order for her to trust him, he's done everything. The prenup, I mean, the posting up to the tattoo to
yeah,
all this, and I think she's been hurt by men so much in her life
Yeah.
that she needs to have these parameters and things put in place. So if she does get hurt, oh, I told you so. So I think she's kind of setting him up a little bit to see what he would feel on. You know what I'm saying? But he hasn't done anything yet. He just needs to know, and she's to the point where she could push him away if she does not trust him. You know, if she does not understand that he's going to be a provider, right? Men just want to be trusted, right? I don't need you to tell me 15, 20 times that you got a low, you have no gas in your car. Trust that I'm going to fill it up, right? Trust that
right.
I'm going to take care of situations and things in the house. If it's broken, I'm going to take care of it. I'm going to fix it. You know, things of those nature, just understand. And he needs that type of trust and confidence. And from her, he need to get that from her, not in the bedroom, but in just the simple things in life. If I say I'm gonna be home at 6:30, guess what? I'm gonna be home at 6:30. Trust that I'll be there. If I come at 6:35, don't trip. It's 5 minutes. Might have been traffic, something of the nature. So he's just those type of things she needs to build a trust up in. Or give him little assignments. Hey Nate, can you do this? Right? Now, can you stop by here? Can you do that? Can you do this? A honey-do list, whatever. Can you get this done? Can you get this done? That done? And when he does it, you know what? I appreciate you. Things that type of things to build a trust up in Nate.
And the real thing that I like, as you was talking, the thing that I was thinking about was what happens when he fails at something. Because we're not perfect.
Right.
We have our word, but we always something may happen and we can't stand by what we say we was gonna do and stuff like that. How do you bounce back from that? Because you can't just be like, oh, he didn't do this and just throw him out the window.
Right.
Because you have to have that grace.
Mm-hmm.
Because you understand nobody's perfect, because you understand this process in marriage is a everlasting thing. It's always evolving, it's always correcting and incorrecting itself. So knowing that you got to build this trust somehow, knowing that you have to relinquish some type of control, because it's a control factor as well for her too. You have to relinquish control because now you got these two ships and you're trying to point them in one direction with one captain, with two minds, one captain, trying to go in one direction. It's hard. So on some things you gotta have to say, well, you take the wheel. But then some things you can say, he trusts me enough to take the wheel, and you have to do that. So I wonder what happens or how she reacts to him when things don't go how they planned it to go.
Right.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see, if she can navigate a fall by Nate.
Yeah.
But what happens when Nate can't trust her though?
And see, that's the thing we don't think about a lot. We don't think about, well, me personally, I don't want to say everybody. Me personally, I don't think about what Nate wants and needs are a lot because Stasha's wants and needs are so demanding.
Yeah.
She has given the biggest demands out of this relationship. So that's what I'm looking at. It's like it's his has been so I'm going with the flow, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And most of the time, men are like, man, you just need to come home. You just need to do this, or we're happy with the simple things a lot of times, but then like no shade to women or anything like that. But it's like it's more required because you guys are more like, I look at it like this: women are some of the most beautiful creatures on the earth, because you guys have the best gift of like bringing life into the world. I think that's the most amazing thing, right? So the requirements for a woman, I think, are more because of that's one of those reasons why, So it's I don't think about Nate's parts or ideals or wants and needs just because of that simple, like, women are needed to be catered to a little bit more than men are.
But I mean, I know women want to be catered to, but at some point in time, men want to be catered to. They may not express it or say it, but men want to be catered to as well.
Because they talked about like Justin when they want to be be catered to,
Well, I think yeah. I think because I'm a woman, I could say, I think we are probably more complex than men, but the difference is because we're more emotional. It's just like the book you're reading.
Yeah.
It's so women receive love differently. Like men, for them, respect is love.
Mm-hmm.
And for women, I don't want to say love is love, but emotional, that kind of, that's love for us, knowing that matter of fact, this is letting a woman know I'm wanted. You find me attractive. Not that men don't want that, but that really lets a woman know, okay, he loves me. And so that's what Stasha's looking for. Whereas Nate is like, just respect the fact that I'm gonna be there. That's what makes me feel good. That's how I know you love me. Because if you can respect the fact that I'm gonna be there, respect the fact that I'm gonna be a man, whatever the case may be. So yeah, I think in that respect, men are a whole lot simpler than women, because the way you love a woman, each woman is going to be so different, so different. And I mean, same thing for men, but it really comes down to respect with men. If you respect me, you know, and you hold me in a high esteem and honor, I take that.
Men
So
just want to be needed too.
yeah,
That's
But
it.
we can't come out and say, I just want you to need me. You know,
right.
it sounds misogynistic. And so we don't want to be that, you know. Then it sounds like you being emotional. We don't want to be that. You know, we're taught not to be these things.
Right.
Prime example, Nate's dad was like, nah, I don't want him to cry. I taught him not to cry, because it's looked upon as being a negative thing for a man. But crying is one of the most natural things that we do as human beings.
Yeah.
Right. It's a way to get out of emotions healthy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So it's you know, I don't know, man. Society is something else when it comes to men and women.
Oh, absolutely.
It is. And the book we're talking about is the name of the book is
one is for men only,
men only.
and for women only, and it's by Shanti Feldman.
Yeah.
And then her husband Jeff Feldman.
Feldman. Yeah, it's a good book. I might drop the link in the chat if I find it. You guys may want to check that out.
Definitely send it to me, man. I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah, it's a good read. And you know, I reread both. I read the women book first. Well, I read the men book first, and then I flipped over and we listened to the women's side to understand where your spouse is coming from and where your husband is coming from, where the wife is coming from, where the husband is coming from. So it's a good read, good listen on Amazon, whatever case may be, or Audible if you like read audio books. But you got to check those out. But what Nate just need to give my man Stasha just need to know that Nate is there for her. He's there for her. And just like most guys, if you don't trust us long enough, at a point in time, say, you know what, you don't trust me, I'm gone.
Yeah.
I mean, what else do I have to do what else do I have to prove my love to you, right? I gotta prove my love every night. I gotta fight every night to prove my love. 5 heartbeats, y'all. Just anybody who's out there, right? I gotta prove my love. And that's why Nate, I think that's how Nate is feeling though. Like, what else do I have to do to prove my love to you? I've done everything. Everything you asked me to do, everything that you wanted me to do, everything that you needed me to do, I've done that, and you still don't trust me. Like, I'm not even putting my money with yours. I'm keeping my own bank account. I forgot about that when we were talking about things he's done. All right, we're gonna have to put our money together. And when we do put money together, I even agree to whatever I put in, I take out. Whatever you put in, you take out. So what else do my brother? What else do he have to do? Y'all let us know in the chat. Tell me what else do Nate have to do? But again, what demands have Nate has given Stasha? We haven't heard Nate giving Stasha any demands, right?
To cut out whatever I quit asking him to love him.
Right. That's it.
Stop asking them. Man, the crazy part about it is she wants kids in a year or a child in a year. That even complicates things more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's like
Nate's only demand is let me love you. Let me show you. Just let me show you.
Mm-hmm. And but it's only been 5 weeks too, though. So you want all this in 5 weeks?
Yeah.
That's the crazy part, though.
I think that's what people like. For me, I feel like when the couples are so fast to say I love you, so fast to be like, oh, I want you to be head over heels for me, you're still in that honeymoon stage. You know, you're still in the everything is cute and like enjoy that stage, because the first argument you have to have enough enjoyment behind you to want to stay, because that first argument is gonna be hell, you know. And it's gonna come out of nowhere. Like what they're arguing about, like I don't count that. You know, I'm talking about the real, like some stuff you gotta sit down and think about type of argument that they're gonna have. But it's I think they get too caught up on I got 8 weeks to make a decision. You gotta love me within these 8 weeks. When in reality, most of the time, nobody's saying they love you in within 8 weeks.
Nope.
They might have a really strong, they might know that they love you and know that this is it for me, but nobody's really saying that in the first 8 weeks of meeting somebody.
Right.
You know, so I don't know.
I hope they'll get there. I think they'll be all right though.
I hope so.
I think they'll be all right.
She said she might. She heard that she's already pregnant.
I just read that. I hope not.
Yeah,
I
that's
hope not.
Man, y'all know. Look, if he's licking toes and doing all this other stuff, she probably is already pregnant.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying?
Which is a side note. That's another thing. Y'all talk about, and I'm digressing. I'm going back to Mitch and Kristen. You talking about people talking about their sexual needs and desires. That's something people need to be talking about too, dag nabbit. What kind of protection do you, what kind of contraceptive do you use? Y'all not having them conversations. Some of y'all ain't having them STI conversations neither.
yeah. That's something that they used to do on this show, right? Like Pastor Kyle was asking. I think he asked Chris and Paige if that's who it was. He was
Yes.
like, y'all use protection, and they wasn't.
Right.
But
I
Well,
think people need to, realize, hey, you did just meet this person, even though he's like he and she are y'all are married. You did just meet this person.
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, boy.
it's quick, but yeah, they need to learn how to trust each other, and I think that's the key with Stasha and Nate.
Yeah, boy.
Let's move on to this train wreck. We might stay there for a minute.
Which train
which
wreck?
one?
The one train, the lesser train wreck. I was surprised. They was the lesser train wreck.
I'm going to Ben and Morgan right now because I'm saving Alexis and Justice for last, because that's gonna be there for a minute. Those two right there are an issue, right? Those two are big issues. So let's get there to Tommy, your thoughts on Ben and Morgan and how Morgan's just be stonewalling, dude.
Oh my god!
I was like, why is she here? That's the first note I wrote. Why is she here? I was kind of like, it kind of hit me a little hard when Dr. Pierre called Ben vindictive, and then to realize that Ben didn't know what she meant by it. Like, what do you mean vindictive? And I slowly, like from like the last 3 weeks, I've started to realize Ben doesn't understand a lot of the things that people are like he's saying. But like when I see Ben sit down and talk with Morgan, I see the Mike Tyson and Robin Givens interview, and how, like, of course, Mike Tyson was drugged out of his mind, but he just sat there, and she basically called him an animal, basically a beast. And so Morgan is sitting here dogging him, and he just has to sit there and not understand what's being said. And then he's just agreeing with the things that she's saying about him. And it's sad. It's sad to see. It's sad to hear. I think Ben wanted the explanation of how. Oh, okay. Artika is commenting and everything. Hey, Artika. But yeah, so it was like, it was interesting to see him just sit there, and I hated that he's like, yeah, I can agree with that. And he's always agreeing with what Morgan says, but that's not it. Morgan has basically from the jump has cut him off. She didn't give him a fair fight. She didn't give him a fair fight in this whole Married at First Sight experience. And so him being such a novice at relationships and how they go, he's just kind of going with what she's given. When he brought up the fact that Morgan reminds him of his dad and how cold his dad was and cut off his dad was, and his responses to everything. And I was like, that makes sense. Why isn't that a fair thing for Ben to request of her to know how to talk to him better? Like, hey, we're starting this thing off wrong because you're not talking to me the way I want you to talk to me. What, like, it's just one side, and I hated that Morgan is just so cold to this dude. Like, it bothers me to my core. And then Dr. Pia didn't make it better because she was like, I felt like she was in agreement with him. And I'm like, no, don't be in agreement with her. She's the enemy. She's the bad guy.
Yeah.
This thing is not working because of her. But
it made me think, what else did he lie about? That was the first thing kept coming to my mind, right? And I think I said it on our review. This can't just be over this degree in the situation, right? It has to be much. It has to be much more than that. It's like with the Mitch situation. No one's saying Mitch didn't say what the sexual thing was he laughed at, but no one is actually saying what did Ben actually say,
Right.
right? What did he
Nobody
say
knows.
that makes us so I don't feel trusted. I don't feel you feel awful. What did he say that this dude has to take him for? He's like, yeah, I did say this. I do apologize. But Dr. P call him vindictive and all that. She know what he says, but we as the viewer don't know what he said or what he did to make her feel so disgusted. What is it?
And she won't let him talk to get it out. You know what I mean? Once again, it's accusing him of not having her back, but not saying, like you said, what did you? Okay, this is what Alexis told me you said. What did you say? And it's like off the rip, you believe in her over him, and he really didn't give you a reason not to believe him. He does. What makes you really just met both of them?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know her. I don't know her. Yeah. You know what I mean? She ain't got no recordings. I don't know. For all I know, she could be lying. She might have heard it wrong or whatever. I go back to what she said when the whole BSN thing came out. She keeps saying he should have had my back. I don't know you, man. I don't know you. What do you mean? Maybe I'm not the have your back type of person.
Have your back how is the question.
That's what I'm saying. But how maybe I'm not, you don't know me well enough to know if I'm gonna have your back or not.
Yo, she triggers that dude. He said it. She triggers me like my dad triggers me, which means she be screaming on bruh. And she holding bruh to the standard that he can't live up to. Like everything he said, I would buy her favorite food, or I would take her out. I would do all these things for her. And
that was when he was trying to kiss up after the fact.
I got a point here. I think even when he did all those things, she still was like, kiss my butt. And he was like, what else do I have to do to please you? Right? Mm-hmm. So what I'm saying, he's triggered by these things. Like he might have tried to do all the nice things for dad, take out the trash early and make sure the house was cleaned up. And dad was still on him. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So when he said I'm triggered by her, it's like, what else? I'm triggered because I'm trying to please you and you're not giving me any love back.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I wanted to say with the apology thing, I think the apology thing was this week too, right?
Mm-hmm.
She wants him to give an apology that feels real or something. She said like that. I was like, that's not his problem. That's her problem.
Right.
That's a on her problem because Artika. That's like if I say I'm sorry and I'm sorry for X, Y, and Z, and I've made changes to say I'm sorry for X, Y, and Z, and you're like, well, that's not good enough. Well, that's all I'm gonna give you. That's it. That's all I got. I'm gonna change the behavior, but I'm also like it's Ben's issue, or the only issue I have with Ben is that he did not speak up and stand up for himself when it came to her asking him to do impossible tasks, as to not talk to the other couples about us because I don't want them to look at me any different, or stop doing stupid stuff and they won't look at you any different.
Right.
I have an issue and I feel like I can't talk to you about it. So I'm gonna go to the next person that I know that I'm comfortable with, that I can talk to about it, which it was Justin. And I feel I got an issue with Justin too for not checking his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Hey, things supposed to stay between me and you if me and you talk about it. I'm gonna tell you, but that's between me and you.
Well, look what you said though. Justin can't check his wife because she's just as manly as he is, and I'm gonna go. Their roles are different when we get to Justin and Alexis, but look at both of their wives, right? Both of their wives are dominant figures, and these guys can't get a word in edgewise, or really can't with their wives, and so they got to run together, and that's what Ben figured we had in common.
Yeah. And I get it, I get it. Hey, you find your friend and you talk to your friend about the things that you feel like you can't talk to your spouse about, or trying to figure out how do I talk to my spouse about, hey, my wife can't cook. What do you do, or how would you approach the situation? Just getting an idea from somebody else, trying to figure out how can I teach my wife how to cook, because she spends all this money going out to eat, and we can't, that's just not financially smart. You know what I'm saying? So it's like she gave him an impossible task to do, and he did his best with it. I hated that he didn't speak up about that, because now we're in a situation where it's looking like he's the villain, and Morgan is sitting up here telling everybody, oh, he did this, oh, he did that, and the only thing he can do is agree with what she say. Makes sense to me at all.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say too. It's just like this with Dr. Pia and Dr. Pepper, and somebody said in the comments too, like I was so irritated that they put the focus on Ben.
Oh,
like that irritated the mess out of me. I'm like, so we just not going to address her mean girl attitude. Like, we're not going to say nothing about that at all. You're going to call him you off the rip because Morgan told Dr. Pia he attacked my character behind my back. He said this. Dr. P, he told half truths. Then Dr. P is like, oh, you were being vindictive. But okay, ask him, what did he say? Don't just say you were being vindictive. Give him a chance to say. They jumping on her side instead of saying, but okay, I understand he might not have done something right, but why are you so freaking mean? Why are you treating him so bad? I want an emotional apology. Okay, explain to me what you mean by emotional apology. Because he said, I'm sorry. He bought you the chicken sausage. He did this. He did that. He apologized to your family. What do you want? My husband said
he apologized to the cameraman.
Right. My husband said she wants him to grovel at her feet and cry. He's not going to cry. No, I mean, and that's the other part. He is crying. He's emotional about it. What else do you want this man to do? I want an emotional apology. And I mean, I don't expect no man to be like, Morgan, I don't expect that.
The man lost 7 pounds and he went to therapy, right? You know what I'm saying? He lost 7 pounds to go to therapy. He's stressed. If he can pull his hair out, he'll pull his hair out. What else do you want? Stasha said that even if he does give you an apology, you're not gonna like it anyway. You're not gonna accept it.
You're not gonna accept it.
You're not gonna accept it. If he does give you, if he does everything he actually asked him to do, he will still be beating him up for the next 6 or 7 years behind this.
Right. And he's just gonna sit there and take it because that's how he's been able to. If it's anything like his dad, that's the way he treated his dad. He just sits there and take it.
That's probably how his dad treats his mom too, and his mom just kind of. It's like, this is just what it is.
Yeah. But we haven't even thought about that part.
Right.
It's like, how does this translate to his mom? Because, his mom has some type of control over, like, his life.
They traumatized it over his daddy.
So it's like, once he talks to his mom about this situation, what she's going to say, and how is that going to affect his response to her? So
I agree. Yeah, the best apology is change behavior. I agree, but she not even giving him an opportunity to change the behavior because Dr. Pia said it. I'm sitting here watching, and we saw it too. You see how her demeanor changed? She wasn't all rah-rah in there with Dr. Pia, and Dr. Pia said, you're having a calm conversation. You opened up some more. So Ben can show her some action if she could calm the heck down.
He did. Bro got up and gave her the tissue, and she looked like she didn't want the tissue. She didn't
That's
want
what
to
I'm
take the
saying.
tissue
She
from
just
him.
needs to calm down.
But I totally agree with you. I mean, Ben lied to her, right? And he does have to change behavior. I'm not negating to anybody who listens. I'm not in favor of Ben lying to Morgan, right?
No.
Not in favor of Ben lying to Morgan. Not in favor of Ben not being trustworthy with what Morgan asked him to do, being faithful to his spouse. But I do have a problem. There's a point in time in marriage and there's a point in time in relationships. You have to forgive the other person, right? You have to forgive the other person. You have to move on. Can you imagine if Ben, this is just for him telling somebody a situation or a story, right? Can you imagine if Ben lost a job and couldn't provide? Could you imagine if Morgan lost her job and she had to really depend on Ben to take care of things in their marriage? Could she do it because she already don't trust him, right? people they'll go out together or go out to eat and be in a couple setting, and somebody say, "Hey Morgan, how was work today?" Or "Hey Ben, how you feel about Morgan working at the hospital?" And he be like, "Oh, she ain't got no job." You know what I'm saying? Or she ain't working right now. You know what I'm saying? Because things happen in marriages where in conversations you have a relationship that people that you deal with, and you may say something in your relationship to somebody else, and you don't mean no harm by it. It's just conversation. We trust you, you trust us. We talk, right?
Mhm.
And you don't expect him to broadcast it, but he feels she wants everything tight-lipped because what I think is Morgan's living a lifestyle that she don't want. She has a perfect lifestyle, and she don't want anybody to know that she makes mistakes.
Mhm.
That she
And
does
see,
not.
that's the thing that it's the real issue is that Morgan is trying to put on this front that everything's a-okay.
And everybody makes mistakes.
Right.
Literally.
Right. Like it's like when you get married or when you talk to married folks, right? They always say we don't have it all together.
No.
You know, we don't like everything is not perfect. We try to we could argue right before we get on here and we be like the best teammates in the world. And then we get back to arguing after we do what we need to do. But that's
Mhm.
just us doing a job,
Mhm.
doing something that's going to benefit somebody else, and doing that to our best abilities. But it's like you're in this TV show, and I know you've seen the TV show, be your authentic self.
Right.
100% be yourself throughout this whole thing, and don't try to put on a front for people that's in it with you,
Mhm.
because those are the people that you lean on. That's why you do so much stuff together. You're
Mhm.
leaning on these folks to help you make it through these 8 weeks,
And,
giving you lifetime friendships and coupleships to make it through things that you're gonna go through. So I hated that they picked on being like that, man.
I know. Look, and I was just about to say that too. Yeah, it's two things. We make mistakes in relationships. It is what it is, and you just stop trying to make it look like everything is all hunky dory. But at the same time, I ain't gonna be out there exposing, you know what I'm saying? Like you said. But I think that's what it is for Morgan. Like she's trying to maintain the image. They don't know these are new people. I get to be the person I want to be in front of them. So you're ruining this facade I've built up because she's really a mean girl. She's
She is
I think
mean,
Will
boy.
said Quinasia said she wants to control the narrative.
that's what I'm saying.
So
And that does not work on reality TV. Like you
No,
can't
at all.
control the narrative. You can't, like Tommy said, just be your authentic self. And if you mean as a snake, you just mean as a snake.
Right.
And
And it's
coming on Married at First Sight to gain fans.
nah.
She came on again.
Right.
Like the experts, and she feel like the experts didn't do justice because they gave her somebody who couldn't keep her business. But again, it goes back to what I said. That first night, if this is just me, if I'm on Married at First Sight, that first night that we meet up, I ain't trying to have sex with nobody on the first night. We're gonna run through a whole bunch of questions in our marriage. We're gonna stay up and talk. Think about the couples who stay up and talk all night long, and some of the couples who have the great relationship because they cover things like this is how we want to handle the marriage. We want to keep our business. I go with Ryan and Claire, right? You may not have liked it, and you may have thought they fooled everybody, but they had a conversation. So you know what? We're not gonna talk about our sex life on TV, and we're gonna keep it quiet. And you know what? Claire stood by that, even lying to the girls. You know what I'm saying? She again, you make that deal. Morgan and Ben never made a deal about what they can and cannot share in their relationship. And if they did make a deal, he agreed to it. He broke it. She hot and she mad and she can't get over it.
Like I said,
If she can't forgive her dad, she won't forgive Ben.
but this is my thing. This is my thing. I would say it again. I don't know you well enough to know if you can keep a secret. I don't know. I'm not putting that kind of faith in you. I don't know. Let me ask your friends, are you a secret keeper? Let me ask your friends, do you keep the pinky promise? I don't know you. Same time, man. Same time. I don't know you.
Yeah.
I'm not putting that much. That's why, and this is this is my thing. This is a sidebar. Like even when it comes to cheaters, like look, you put too much faith in this joker that they not gonna say nothing. No. I believe you gonna tell. I'm gonna carry it like that.
We ain't learned nothing else this week. Ask the Boston Celtics.
That's
coach,
what I'm
right?
saying.
That's Boston Celtic coach. if cheating,
Man, you know your boy was sad too.
I'm gonna treat a joker when you doing like that, when you try to control the narrative like that. I'm gonna treat a joker like they gonna tell. They gonna, you know what I'm saying? When it come to criminals, I'm gonna be prepared. Don't just be prepared not to get caught. I'm gonna just think in my mind, it's a chance I could get caught. How am I gonna cover my tracks? I don't know you.
I need somebody to ask Kevin Frazier, Keisha Knight Pulliam. I need somebody to ask, what did Ben actually say? I need to know.
Kevin Frazier's gonna sit up and cape for Morgan because that's what he does.
Yeah,
but it irritates me so bad. I just want somebody to dig in her. I need somebody to dig in her. I need it, and I don't think we're gonna get it. Artika, I don't think we're gonna get it, and it makes me mad.
We're not.
I need to find out, because if it comes out all he said was a BSN stuff, you still mad about that after 5 weeks?
Well, with what Nate said on After Party, it sounds like that was pretty much it. He was like, outside of that, the only other thing that happened was being told white lies. And I'm assuming the white lies were, I didn't talk to anybody about this. So
because he was trying to avoid conflict.
Yeah. So
I
just have to believe that that's what happened just by what Nate said, because Nate don't have a dog in the fight.
Mm-mm. Right. And the only one little thing the only other little tidbit they threw out there was that she said that according to Alexis, Ben said she's just mad because my family was perfect and hers wasn't, which I can't see Ben saying that, considering what he's shared about his family. I just don't. I think that was taken out of context. He might have said something about family, but it was taken out of context.
Yeah, everything is deep, because I can't imagine Alexis going back and telling Morgan, hey, by the way,
I don't trust her. I wouldn't trust her.
But I'm saying Alexis going back to Morgan and said, by the way, he's still talking about your BSN. Now, what I really think, he probably told me, man, this chick she might be a nurse, but she can't afford nothing. He might have talked about her money, you know what I'm saying? Or something. He wasn't getting I'm thinking about it. He wasn't getting no loving. He was doing all this other stuff. What else could he really talk about besides maybe her paper?
I'm gonna tell you what else.
Or she smell or something like that.
What else? That's what else he's talking about.
What?
She don't even take her scrubs off when she come home.
Think about it. All he could really do is when somebody said that you attack their character, so what made me think? Okay, she dirty. She don't take the trash out. She ain't come clean the house up. She ain't doing none of this stuff. And he said, like, Justin, what do you do if the person doesn't clean up and you do everything? Remember, she talked about that in the previous episode. That when she come home, she just want to chill, right?
Yeah.
So she just want to chill and do nothing. So I'm thinking like, okay, maybe he told Justin, like, man, Justin, I know you at home, you do everything, but what if your wife don't do nothing neither? And Morgan don't do the dishes. She don't take out the trash. She don't cook. What am I supposed to do? And she feel like he attacked her character. So maybe we'll see. So let's get to here. I don't know. Morgan, next week I think it's over with anyway. I think when Dr. Pepper asked her, does she want to be divorced? I think Morgan said, you know what? I want to be done with him.
And that would be good for Ben, because he'd be looking pitiful.
It'd be good for us, so we ain't got to see that no more.
Yeah.
It'd be good for us on TV. My thing is, I hope she like Alyssa. If they divorce, they don't keep showing her on TV that they're gone. That we no longer see Ben and Morgan, that is down to 4 couples. So we'll see.
Oh, I want to say this real quick. So Disco Sprinkles. Like when I worked in the hospital, I worked on a med-surg unit, and we did not have a particular color. Labor and delivery had a color. Like the surgical staff, they had a color. But when I worked at the hospital, med-surg, we didn't have a particular color. I could wear whatever color scrubs I wanted to. But I dropped my scrubs at the door when I came in the house, because I don't know what might have got on my clothes. You be up against patients. They might rub their nose on your clothes. I took my shoes and my scrubs off soon as I hit the door. I don't, especially, and yeah, this a different time too. All kind of germs in there. I'm not doing it.
Yep. Ready?
Ugh.
Next couple. Hey Tommy, just one question for you, man.
Yeah.
Y'all married 5 weeks, man. Can Artika go? Can Artika go to the club every weekend without you?
Nah.
Artika wasn't going to the club. I think my club cutoff was like 23.
Right.
Like I don't. That was for me. I was like, I don't understand that. Like, what is it about your friends so much? You know, what is it that you have to go to the club? Like, is she going to the club every weekend, or is it that she's meeting up with her friends every weekend? And
I think she said she did brunch once.
She did brunch once, but Justin said it's a club. Now he said he didn't have a problem with her going out. It is just a club.
Yeah, and then she also said, don't underestimate the turn up, because I could go out Monday through Friday. I was like, how old are you? Because like, what?
Yeah, like why? Why do like what sense? What are you proving? Because as soon as because I'm assuming it's the guys that she's going out with, because that's who
we've only seen her hang out with one girlfriend,
one female, and then it's like, you're hanging out with these guys. Let's assume that you're hanging out with these guys, right? As soon as they find a girl or you know, somebody to be in a relationship with, they're gonna drop her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not gonna kick it with you like this because I want to kick it with my girl. Mm-hmm. And then here she is trying to go back to Justin, and Justin gonna be like, well, go out, go do your thing, because I've replaced that time, you know. So I don't understand the want to do that when you're in a situation outside of the fact that she doesn't like him and don't want to be with him. But, you know, that's a different story. Yeah, it's just like 2 hours at the club. Like, that don't make sense.
I've spent more than 2 hours at brunch.
Yeah, like
like if you actually are a person that goes to brunch, I don't know how San Diego is, but I know Atlanta. Going out for brunch in Atlanta, you're waiting 40 minutes for your food.
Yeah.
How are you only going to be out for 2 hours and you spent over half, well, just about half of it waiting on your food? You had to get there, you had to wait on your food, and then you had to eat it. And me and my friends going out for brunch means we need at least 3 rounds of mimosas. That's so hilarious. I just don't understand where this 2 hours is coming from.
That's a good point, Artika. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, Tommy, but is 2 hours outside of travel time?
Nah, that's got to be included too.
Because if you say I'm only gone for 2 hours,
that's what I'm saying.
I have to include travel time.
That's what I'm saying. Ain't no way she was at no club for no freaking 2 hours. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Unless it's around the corner. It's no
downstairs.
way.
Like she live on top of the club.
That's what ain't no way. You've been out the house more than that. You might have physically been in the club for 2 hours, but the whole time you've been gone is more than that.
You know, I'm responding, Sharon. I like Alexis, but I ain't gonna root for my girl. I seen my ways. I saw your comments, Sharon, and I've changed my ways. Jackie's been in my ear. I'm letting you know. I think I commented back to you. Look, I didn't have a problem with her going out for 2 hours, right? I didn't have a problem with her going out for 2 hours every weekend. I didn't even really have a problem with her going to the club. But the problem was that it was the first.
Did you hear that? He said he didn't have no problem with going to the club. Okay.
It was the first 4 or 5 weeks, right? I mean, look, Justin really don't have a problem with her going. Justin has a problem with her going to the club. He doesn't have a problem with her going out for 2 hours.
No.
And I read between the club thing because I'm looking at it much more than the club. And Justin said it when they had the conversation at the table, right? Justin feels that her going out to the club is another way that she's slapping him in the face because she's not intimate with him and that she's looking for something other than him. Mm-hmm. So it really, what I'm answering the question is really not the club issue. It's the fact that she is not spending the time or giving him loving. If she was giving him loving and she was getting down and gritty with him, I don't think Justin would have a problem with the club. The problem is Justin's insecurities popping in. Well, you know what? She at the club for 2 or 3 hours with her guy friends. Well, maybe she like one of them. Maybe she getting it because she said she was a sexually active person, right? So maybe she getting it for them for 2 hours. She ain't giving it to me. So who's she getting it from? So that was I was saying. You see what I'm saying? That's the way I was looking at it.
Now,
But now, thanks to you and Sharon, right? Yeah, y'all came after my neck. You know what I'm saying? But now I'm looking at it. Okay, this is why Justin has an issue because it's much more than it's bigger than the club.
yeah, man, I had to tell Glenn, and I don't know why I had to tell him this. I was like, I think it even doesn't necessarily. Maybe I'm saying it's Justin and Alexis, so it is a part of her. But more than anything, we had this conversation like, as a married woman, why are you going to the club? Because it's a bunch of pervs at the club. It's men trying to hit on you. Like, I'm not gonna put myself in that predicament to be slapping nobody in the face and to have nobody approaching me that I don't want to be bothered with. You know what I'm saying? So let's say they was good on that front. And I don't worry about you doing anything out the way going to the club. But I got a problem with the other people that's there. I can't control them. So I think that's what he was like, Don, why is you going to the club as a married woman? I'm not going to no club.
I think
I'm not a club person anyway. Like Artika said, how old are we?
They're in their 20s, right?
No,
they're in their 30s.
They're in their 30s, okay.
Yeah,
Like 35-year-old Artika don't have time. Now, I was just telling Tommy while we were muted, like the only person I know that can go to the club every weekend, my stepdad does go out a lot. However, he's also home before midnight every time he goes to the club. Like, he's just a person who likes to get out and dance. Sometimes my mom goes with him. It's very unlikely that she goes with him, but sometimes she does. But I've run into my stepdad at the club. He goes to the 25 and up club. I've been out with my cousins and run into him at the club, but he doesn't drink. He goes to dance and he's back at home by midnight, sometimes even before 11, and he's not leaving until 9. So it's a balance to it with him going to the club. But Alexis don't strike me as that person. I already know she's drinking when she gets to the club, so she's coming home drunk, probably talking loud and crazy. And lying, talking about I was only gone for 2 hours, and he looking at his watch like, nah, it's easily been 5.
And that makes it bad. But I think Justin just does not know how to say what he really wants to say to her. Like, I don't want you to go out because it looks this way and it makes me feel this way. But he's like trying to be cool and be like, no, it's okay, but I have an issue with it, but it's okay because you do X, Y, and Z, but it's still how he communicates. He doesn't want her to go to the club, or he doesn't want her to go out like that. That like it's like you're not communicating clearly as to what you want, and she's taking it as, well, I'm gonna just go kick it with my people.
I don't think she gave him the opportunity though, because after Dr. Pia came and attacked her,
that was
like, well, he didn't even offer a compromise. I'm like, but you should be offering a compromise, because if you know that he doesn't like something, and he never said, I don't want you to go out. He said, I don't want you to go out every weekend. That's when you ease in your compromise.
Right.
But she was just like, you're controlling.
Is that when she told him that she, like Dr. Pia said, she's not ready to be married to him, right?
She asked her, was she ready to be married? And she said yes. And she asked her why. And then she said, are you ready to be married to Justin? And she was like, I don't think so.
Yeah, like.
And then she was like, hey, you telling people that I'm not ready to be married? You
said
that.
You
on national TV.
Look, she already swiped left anyway, so we know she ain't like you.
Right.
He just happened to be matched up with him. But I think I agree with you though. He could have gave her a compromise, or she could have gave him a compromise. Like, okay, how about every other weekend, first and third? I think we talked about that when we were talking about Virginia, right? Let's go first and third, set aside. But
I forgot about Virginia going out all the time.
But ain't that her job? Like, if your spouse expresses to you, hey, I have an issue with that, ain't it your job as the person that, I have the issue with, is be like, well, okay, I see your issue. What if I do this?
Because that literally can, like, de-escalate an argument coming. Like
Right.
we just had a conversation. Obviously, it wasn't about going to the club, but we had a
How
conversation
you
about
know?
that.
It could have been.
Who going to the club? You didn't go to the club when we was 18.
Yeah, I did.
But we had a conversation like that recently. Like I felt like Tommy wanted to just harp on an issue, and I was like, okay, let's find the compromise for the issue and let's end this conversation, because
That
we're
conversation.
going around in circles of you being upset, but there's no there's no solution. So let's find a solution so we can stop talking about this. We did.
We ain't fixed that solution.
We haven't come to we had an agreement on a solution.
Yeah, we did.
We just have not put the solution in place.
Okay.
But it also wasn't something like going out every
Yeah.
weekend. So it's not like you had to stop doing something or I had to stop doing something.
Right.
So it was just like we found a solution. We just have to put it in play.
Yeah. But I just feel like she just the sad part about it is Justin is expressing these things and she doesn't have his back on it. And then she feels attacked when somebody is looking at the situation saying, no, you're wrong in the situation. And it's like, why feel attacked in that situation when what you saying goes against everything we're talking about?
Dr. Pia told her that she was wrong. She was like asking why.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Justin, in all intents and purposes, was like, you're wrong. And she wasn't being, during the conversation, she definitely wasn't being neutral. She definitely was leaning towards what you're saying doesn't make sense.
Right. It's hard to be neutral when what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. It's like what you're saying doesn't make sense. And I can't be neutral in this situation just because no, that's not how you do things. Like y'all have had 5 weekends and you've gone out all 5 weekends.
Right.
Like that don't make sense.
She be drinking.
And that's the example that, like, I understand. You have to put in perspective. Okay, so we work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5.
Yep.
By the time you get off, you might be tired. You got to eat something. It's almost, rinse and repeat. You go to work, come home, eat. It's about that time. It's almost time to go to bed. And so on the weekend, that's when you have your free time, So dedicate some time to your spouse, especially in this new blossoming marriage. And I think that's what he was saying too. I don't have no problem with you spending time with your friends, but what about spending time with me? Like Alexis was like, I don't want to be up under him 24/7. That's the one thing, Dr. Pia, she was like, he ain't asking you to be under him 24/7. That's impossible.
Y'all gotta read between the lines.
And that's what I was about to say. To go to that too. Okay, so then she said, when she said, I don't know if I'm ready to be married to Justin, it was because I don't know what kind. We need to get to the root of what did you envision marriage being like? Because she said she thought it would be fun. Now, I'm sorry. Marriage can be fun, but it ain't always fun. You ain't always laughing and giggling out there bowling, because doggone it, 9 times out of 10, but before you get married, you got responsibilities any freaking way. You definitely got responsibilities when you marry. So it ain't gonna be all fun and games when you get married. It's not like when you're dating. It's not like when you're dating. So
I just took what she said though in this way because I had to look at it from a different thing. I mean, in this marriage, it's not fun because think about it, they come off of work, they go into production. They got to do things that the executive producers and producers ask them to do. And I think her turning up with her friends is just finding the time to be herself because she's around work. She's around Justin. She's around producers, production, come home and film.
Oh, yeah.
And they may get an off day. And she probably, well, on my off day, I want to go hang. Now, granted, we all know she ain't spending no 2 hours in the club. You already went through that, right? But Justin is like, spending to me, let's cuddle, let's hug. Justin wants to recreate the honeymoon when they had nothing else to do.
Mm-hmm.
She couldn't turn up on the honeymoon because her friends wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
She had no other choice but to enjoy all the things that he did on the honeymoon. And he got accustomed to he got accustomed to the honeymoon marriage and not the real life marriage.
Mm-hmm.
She got accustomed to the honeymoon marriage. And then when they came home and they had their first argument, she was like, you know what? I'm going back to me. So I'm going back to what I'm used to. And what I'm used to is hanging out with the friends and doing all that. And again, she signed up for it. She should have known that. But again, she feels stifled because Justin is there.
But it's
that's
gonna be like
it's
that.
But
if
it's
you
gonna be like that in marriage.
That's what I was gonna say. If she hadn't married a stranger, even if you marry somebody you know, in the beginning, it's gonna be you and this person because you're trying to get used to that person, you know, and it has to change. You can't go from hanging with your friends all the time. You just can't. You're married. That it changes.
It does.
It changes, and I think that's what she doesn't understand, especially so with the stranger. But when we knew it, you know what I'm saying? I know.
But then she revert back to when they were arguing in the kitchen, and when the producer Krista stepped in.
Oh my gosh,
she said,
crazy too.
Why did you wait till I got blindfolded to tell me all this stuff? Goes back to the conversation I had at the beginning. Why are you so vague? I ask you every day, is everything okay? You're still being vague, but now you feel more comfortable because I'm blindfolded to share all this information with me. Basically, you made me look stupid on TV.
Man, but she should have looked stupid on TV because it's like,
right.
First off, she still didn't be 100 with him with the blindfold on.
Nope.
Like, what is the thing is, she already said she doesn't want to be married to him, or she don't think he's right for her. So what is he holding back for? You know, he has no reason to hold back now.
He could take off his ring, say how he really feels, because at this point, you just some other girl.
Right. It is what it is on that. And it's like, why not be truthful to him? She's like, well, I want him to have his moment. No, it's like, if y'all are trying to be in a relationship and really trying to make this thing work, like she says she is, you have to be 100.
And that's 2 times that he's asked her straight up for something and she's lied to his face. The first was at the dinner table when she was like, no, I don't have anything to say. And it's like, nah, you got something to say, because the way you said, no, I don't have anything to say. And then this one with the blindfold activity.
It's like you're trying to protect him and he's not asking for protection.
When she said that she thought that she was going to make a great wife for somebody, even if it wasn't for him, I was like, that's a dagger to the heart right there. Like, if I'm trying to give you everything.
Artika, that's what I was about to say. For her to come and say, I held back, I said, well, dang, what she let out was enough to hurt his heart. Because what he said, it was like everything was a retort. I'm going to make somebody happy, even if it's not you. Bloop, bloop. Her whole thing was a retort to what he said. And listen to it. She talked in past tense. We had a good time. I appreciate it. Your family's cool. I'ma still be cool with them. She said it like it's over.
Yeah. Yo, she said it. She did. She heard that. She heard that dude hard. Now, this is where I got crucified again by some people. I thought after the pole dance, I thought she was in the mood because she was drinking. I thought he might have got some that night if he hadn't waited for the blindfold. If he had said the blindfold situation, Justin might have got lucky. I know some of y'all about to crucify me in this chat. It's just my opinion. I thought she was on the way. I thought she was feeling some type of way, that they was having a good time with the pole dance. And maybe Alexa's just great of an actress. You know, and she's that great of an actress that she was trying to protect herself, and she just was doing the activity, going through the activity. She never intended to give Justin any, but I definitely knew after he started talking when she was blindfolded, I'm like, bro, had any chance of getting something that night?
He ain't getting it now.
Your chance is 0 right now, because she offended, and she always says this: I didn't really want to hurt him. I didn't really want to, like, you did hurt him, right?
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
You know he's soft already.
He's emotionally aware.
Soft. That brother's soft.
He's emotionally aware. But nothing about that quote unquote performance on the pole made me feel like he was gonna get anything. Like, they didn't even seem like she was trying to hype up, even pretending to like want to be sexy for him, or like just being goofy on the pole. It was just like, this is the activity that I've been tasked with, and I'm gonna do it.
Put all my
do it for the vine.
I ain't gonna do it. Now, I didn't understand the producer intervening. Like, the way the producer intervened, I thought they were fighting, like physically fighting, you know. And I was like, this is weird that she did that for them, just, you know, arguing with each other essentially.
It was probably like she's tired of hearing the same argument over and over because as production, you have to listen to these stupid arguments all the time. And if
Yeah.
she's
Mhm.
their particular producer, she was like, sit down so we can stop having this argument.
Right.
Like,
Right.
find something new.
But she like put them both in the bathroom. Was like, hey, do. I was like, who
And you-
is this producer lady, man?
She was like, hey, she said, all right, Lex. She didn't even call her Alexis, all right, Lex, because so she has built a relationship.
Right.
with them. Like, this ain't the first time she did this. It don't seem like it's the first time she done calmed them two down. It just, to me, it seemed like it's a time that she was there. All right, this is the time we hear y'all arguing during production time. You're at least gonna argue. Let's go, because we can't film you in the bathroom. Let's come to the kitchen
Yeah.
and let's have a conversation so we can at least get some TV done.
Mhm.
I can get some work. I can say we did something.
Yeah. But I just think that was this whole episode for them. It was just sad, you know. It was sad that he expressed something and she's like fighting against it.
Mhm.
And it's what you wouldn't expect a wife and a husband to fight about. You know,
Right.
like anybody, like you wouldn't expect your time spent with your friends to be more important than time spent with your spouse.
Exactly.
And I don't think she realized that's what he was crying out about. It's
Mhm.
like you putting, like he even said it. I think he's number 3, really, behind Newton and
Her
Newton.
friends.
her friends. And it's like that's your husband though.
Oh, and you heard her say, when Maya attacked Newton.
And
I know.
I'm glad Dr. Peel called out on that because it was like, but he gave up Maya,
Mhm.
you know, and she's not looking at it from that standpoint. It's one of the most selfish things that we've seen on that
after party.
episode.
On after party, she said Newton could have went to her mom. Her mom called and asked if Newton could come. And she was like, no, Newton can stay because his dog attacked my dog and Newton didn't do anything wrong. So she could have.
It's not a punishment, it's a protection.
It's protection. Like, it's a protection. Like, she could have got rid of the dog. Both of them could have got rid of the dog. Truth be told, both of them didn't have to bring their dogs there. They could have built their relationship. But y'all said she probably would have found something else because she really don't like dude. So
Yeah.
it would have been something. It would have been something else. But she didn't have to bring the dog there. And when I heard that, I'm like, yo, why you keep saying this? And you didn't even have to bring your dog here, or you could have took your dog somewhere else. And this man had to get rid of his best friend, and you're not letting him live that down. Do you think their relationship is like Jamie and Beth, that it's explosive, but they might still stay together, or is it worse?
Nah, there's no way they're gonna stay together.
I didn't think Jamie and Beth was gonna stay together though, because that one argument on the couch, I was like, goodness.
Yeah.
Nah, but they like, yeah, I mean, it's when they said okay, I was like, okay, that makes sense. But I don't think Alexis and Justin stay together because she's already said, first off, she don't like him. Secondly, Newton bit her Maya bit her dog. And then third, she can't hang out with her friends.
Yeah.
What the dude say? I just want to go out and do ratchet things with my friends. You know, so it's like 3 strikes and you out, man. She already got her out. So
yeah, there's no way in the world Alexis is hanging out. No, there's no way in the world I think their relationship is done. I think he'll still, I don't know. I still see her giving him somewhere down the line.
I don't.
In the preview, but I felt like in the preview, that's what they tried to say.
I think somewhere
I don't know how they would get there.
I don't know how they would get there.
I can't see how they would get there.
Sloppy drunk and be like, yes, it's my husband.
But didn't they try?
That's what I'm about to say. She said on after party they tried. So she said on after party somehow they tried, but it didn't work out.
But didn't he say that to the guys? He said that the problem was when he made a move, she was like a what, like wet noodle type of thing. Like she wasn't giving it back.
Oh,
I believe that's what he said.
Man, look.
He's
I
like,
don't know, man.
But I don't
if
know.
all parties are willing, I don't know how there's a try.
Yeah.
Right, if all parties will, I don't know how to try.
yeah, let me see.
She tried to figure out. I think she tried to say he couldn't, rise to the occasion. That's what I want to say.
He didn't get it up in time.
Nah. Boy, I was just, what
going on, huh?
You might need some Blue Chew or something. I don't know. They don't even I should get a sponsor.
Oh yeah, that's what he said. Justice said he tried to have sex with her and she just sits there.
Yeah, that's awkward.
That's awkward. That's a telling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
especially the
because
way
she
she
don't
was
want
kissing
you.
on the honeymoon.
Look, she don't want a guy who fly kites. She want a guy who wears some jeans and Timbs
I forgot about the
and a wife beater.
kites.
You remember this song? It was it was MC Light. Got a roughneck. I want to have a roughneck. I did. I mean, I'm just maybe she want a roughneck.
Maybe she want a roughneck. Maybe she want a roughneck.
As Tommy said, she don't want her dude soft,
No.
No.
literally or
But you know what? We call him
Figuratively.
soft when he called him soft, but when the camera off, he based up though. He wasn't soft when the cameras ain't rolling. He got a little bass in it with the
This
argument with
man gonna cry in 11 episodes,
him.
or 12 episodes. Like I'm all for everybody crying, but this man here is emotional. Carl Thomas. That's what I'm gonna start calling that man.
Yeah, he was resistant. I mean, he wants the intimacy. He wants it, and she's not giving it to him. And that's the big issue in their relationship. He wants the intimacy now, and she's not giving it to him. And he wants to know. And the thing is, he wants to know why. Because if you go back and she was giving it back to him on the honeymoon, now they get home, and ain't no intimacy happen. It's like nothing. He dried up. And he
She
don't know
realized that she don't like him.
why. Right.
She realized this process of giving it a go is harder than what she expected it to be. He doesn't do it for because it's like we all know, hey, it has to be some type of initial attraction there,
Mhm.
In order for anything to get the flowing. And so if that attraction is not there, or he's just too goofy for, it's just not, if whatever it is not getting the juices flowing, it's not gonna work out anyway.
Mhm.
And then on top of everything, y'all have conflict.
Mhm.
That ain't the time that you're gonna. So it's he's in a tough position. I don't know what he could do to like actually get out of this hole, but
nothing.
yeah, like it's hard when one
Be
person
somebody
don't want to be a
different.
part of it. Yeah, that's it, and he can't do that. So
That sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. Hey,
I
but
just did not expect them to fall apart like this.
right, at all. I thought they were actually gonna be able to kind of steer the ship and kind of excel at it.
Mhm.
That'd have been a hell of a success story.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mhm.
it would have been.
Oh, well.
Well, we'll see.
Yep.
Maybe she wants somebody. Maybe her and Morgan hook up. I don't know.
Somebody had said something about that.
They tried to say
I think she like
She
him.
might like, yeah.
She don't like guys.
No.
I wasn't gonna
Oh,
put it
but
with
Justin
Morgan because I
shoulda-
think Morgan is still too alpha for her.
mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I just think I hated that was the cause of like her being the cause of why Morgan and Ben having their conflict,
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, but that's it, man. Thank y'all for being in the chat, for jumping off.
Yeah.
Tommy RT, and closing thoughts, man.
Um,
Quad, you got anything to say?
man, this
You
man
better
been
say,
over
don't
here.
ask him because he'll get
He
started.
been lighting it up over here, buddy.
He has been every time we hit mute is because he decided he needed to be in the conversation. I don't have any closing thoughts. I missed most of the actual speaking part of this. I was listening to y'all though from upstairs.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
No, just like, subscribe, and share. Make sure you guys like this video. Yeah. Oh, podcast coming
Sound
out
like
Wednesday.
you about to say something profound.
I thought I was, but I didn't. I couldn't catch it. I couldn't catch it. So Wednesday we got a podcast episode coming out. We're talking about intimacy. We're trying to get our live going to talk about Coach and his infidelity issues. I was extremely sad about that because Celtics all the way. Yeah. Subscribe to all our channels: August Love Story, Jack and Glenn, Talisa Ray, Chloe Johnson, Little Black Book, 91. All of us, we all family. So yeah.
Yep. Hit everybody up. Talisa Ray.
Stephanie Lee. too.
Stephanie Lee too. Go to TalisaRay.com.
Oh yeah, Stephanie Lee. I forgot about her.
Make sure go to TalisaRay.com. Make sure you get her books as well. Her journal that she got going on, and hey, make sure you subscribe to the August Love Story podcast. It is rocking and rolling. It's good content. Good content.
For sure.
Good stuff. They do a great job. Once again, thanks for joining us on taking the time out of your Sunday afternoon to spend time with us to talk about Married at First Sight. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks for being in the chat, and we'll catch you guys a little bit later. Have a good night.
Bye.
Peace.
Bye.